Hi, everybody. Welcome back. This is lesson 3 of the continuing process, the yum zone of eating peace. Here, I'm going to summarize the packing list for our journey. So, taking it forward, what we already have really with us, but that we just want to shine a spotlight on. It's the packing list we take with us everywhere in this journey. 5 points. The first is the experience, the sensation, the invitation, the openness that we're saying when we mean when we say willing, curious, willing, curious. I like to think of this in our sort of chart of the stages of eating peace, that we're repeating these stages constantly. And the first is opening the door to willingness. The difference between curiosity and absolutely being sure that you're right about something stressful is gigantic, even though curiosity doesn't have an answer. So just remembering, willing, curious. Second thing is tracking or journaling or awareness. Some people don't like to journal and write everything down. There's some interesting reasons for that, but you can find your own way here. Open in a way to being aware. I like writing because it just seems like something becomes so clear, but sometimes overwriting has happened for me. It just all depends. But tracking, somehow tracking and identifying, keeping it simple. I'm identifying thoughts. That's why I'm doing that. I'm speaking out loud my thoughts that sound a little bit crazy. I'm having a conversation so I can hear, because I can't even hear. The feeling is so jumbled and there's blocks, whole entire blocks of thought feeling about eating and body. So I'm just identifying specific thoughts and then I can question them. I'm leaning towards non-action or movement without eating. And I'm getting radical support by connecting, doing the work with others, and collaborating. So a little more about each one. Willingness and curiosity. I just simply have a strong desire to know or learn about feeling curious versus feeling against and having a war. If I'm open to what is, even if I'm not in favor of it yet, it's not the same as being against. Like, I wonder why it's here. It doesn't mean the condition has to last forever, but oh, I wonder. I like this tracking and journaling idea. This might be very helpful for some of you. It is for me. Like, we're just opening up to our fine-tuned instruments that are here, that our awareness is here already, but communicating with ourselves, noticing incidents and stories and what moves across awareness, what I eat and when I eat off balance, when I want to eat off balance, even if I don't. But what I might shift peacefully also if I want different results, noticing tiny, tiny, tiny 1% assertion on that. But here's what I like. I like this metaphor. You know, pilots flying airplanes, whether it's a tiny plane or a big giant jet. My grandfather had an airplane, a little 6-seater airplane for a while. And I one time got to sit up in the co-pilot or passenger seat in the front. There are so many gizmos and gadgets and levers and lights and beepings on that panel. It looks so complicated and complex. But I happen to know that when he did a bunch of little switchings, his hands moving about the dashboard that was in front of us, he then said, "Hey, Grace, you want to fly the plane?" And he pulled out and showed me how to use this secondary steering wheel. And he said, "See if you can go through that cloud." And I got to try. And it was amazing, and I was very scared, but very exhilarated at the same time. What I know about airplanes is that you can set a bunch of things in motion, sort of like the way many cars have an auto speed, that you can set the car on that auto speed, just like airplanes, and then you can actually get up and walk around and walk away. And pilots set everything in order once they're flying to a far distant country and get things in motion, and then they can go eat lunch and get up and go to the bathroom and read a book. They have to be around and aware, but they don't have to be vigilant every second about flying that plane. I find that journaling and noticing and awareness, meditation, quiet meditation offers this. I'm just opening into awareness to watch and then identify what it is that's going on. Like, oh, and kind of recognizing, oh, look at that, what's going on. It gives side rails to the journey. Of course, self-inquiry, that piece of the packing list is, we know it, doing the work, 4 questions, turning it around. And then the living turnarounds, which I'll say more in a future lesson here in this final one. But when it comes to eating peace, thinking peace, I like to think of it as a very tiny bias towards non-action. So in other words, when we feel an urge coming on, it's like we actually are saying, go do this quick. Go do this now, keep eating, which is a movement in itself. It's not non-movement, non-action. So just a bias towards being willing to have non-action for a moment, a pause, a no, don't do anything right now, don't do anything. We're really hooked up to do something when it comes to any kind of a threat, like run, there's a tiger, run. That makes sense on the survival level, and we're opening up to this beyond survival. So a bias towards non-action and then a movement, feeling the turnarounds in the body, imagining, asking for help, sharing with others, doing that connection point, connection, not compulsion, and just not eating, not eating immediately. And there's no wrong or right. And then finally, that practice. We're getting formal support. You're connecting with a partner. Just notice who your people are and have at least 3. I just think having 3, you don't need more than 3 in your own mind, like that are on top of your list. Sometimes it's nice to have more. People from the Eating Peace group. People that you like to work with in inquiry. And then schedule your work. Connect intimately that way. Expose your mind to yourself, to someone else. I love that we can be aware of a higher observing mind. It is always there. It seems to go offline when we get really threatened and we're in survival mode, like that observer is just hanging out in the background. Well, we seem to be hooked up that way, but the higher observing mind never leaves. It's always there. So really, this practice of eating peace on the journey when we've got our packing list here is practicing being present now, right now. Eating war or eating off balance, I noticed every time I was thinking about something from the past or anticipating something in the future. So if I am at war with eating or with my body, there's something going on where I'm operating out of past beliefs or anticipating future fear. And simply to just notice what's happening right now. What's happening right now, sweetheart? You can say to yourself, like, oh, honey, what's happening right now? What's happening right now? Very gently. No need to fix. One of my favorite ways to just notice what's happening right now is to take in the environment that I'm in. Stop the body, sit down, stand still, look around, and notice everything and all the details of everything that's in the room with my eyes. I can also close my eyes and listen to the sounds. Feel my hands and my feet. Feel the body and where it meets the rest of reality. Suddenly I'm in the now. I'm just right now. What's happening right now? And I know that in this now moment is a mind chattering, but it's just chattering, and it becomes more background when we allow everything else to be what we're taking in and drinking in, you know? It's the same as eating, it's just taking in the world, smell, sound, hearing, noticing. So Katie says, and then you find you are actually looking forward to the next belief. Can you imagine looking forward to the next belief about food, eating, or your body, or any feelings that you have at all? You find you are actually looking forward to the next belief. I look forward to the next belief. Can you imagine? How wonderful, how exciting. At some point, you may notice that you're meeting every thought, every feeling, every person, every situation as a friend. And that includes looking in the mirror.